I am about to introduce to you author Sandi Ward, and we are going to be talking about her brand new book. Came out December 18th, called Something Worth Saving, and you see the cover right here, and I love the cover so much. And you know what? I'm going to give you a little bit of a little bit of FYI. I am so allergic to cats. So alert, like serious, not just like runny nose. I mean, I can't breathe around cats. But it's so sad. Like, I hate that because I love cats. I grew up with a cat and I loved him. His name was Chinks. He was a Siamese cat and I loved him so much. We had him a long time. And so yes, are you going to have to be a cat lover to like this book? Probably, but maybe not. I mean, she does such a great job with the voice of the cat. The main character is the cat Lily. And, so I'm going to let her tell us all about this. This is her second book. She is awesome. I love her writing so much. I enjoyed every word of this book. So everybody, here is Sandi. Hi everyone, I am so excited because tonight, yes, it is nighttime, I am interviewing author Sandi Ward and we are talking about her brand new book. She's going to hold it up. It just came out in December, Something Worth Saving. Oh, look at that kitten. You know what? I have to tell you, I am highly allergic to cats.
I'm very sorry to hear that, Michelle. Do you have a dog? Do you have other pets?
You know what? I'm even getting allergic to dogs. It was so weird because I grew up with cats, and it seemed like when I got away from them, then when I would be reintroduced to them, and then it started off as being like the runny nose and the eyes, but now like I can't breathe. Like I see a cat and I'm like, I love you, but you have to go away.
I'm very sorry to hear that. Well, I guess you could still access cats through books, like Something Worth Saving.
That's what I was thinking because I love this cat so much, and I loved my cat growing up. We had him for 14 years. He was a Siamese cat.
And I love Siamese cats.
He was so beautiful. And we had a Cocker Spaniel dog, and I used to always say, like, the Cocker Spaniel was just like, like so stupid, but lovable, but stupid. But the cat, I swear, like he would look at the dog and be like, oh my God, you are so stupid.
I believe it. Siamese are supposed to be very intelligent and very vocal. And that is exactly how I imagine my cat narrators to be. They feel a little bit superior to dogs. And I think naturally we imagine that's what cats really feel.
Yeah, they were both he's. They would run around, like the cat would start running, the dog would chase him, right? And then he'd jump up on the TV set and kind of look down and be like, nah.
Yeah. I outsmarted you, exactly.
And I can do this and you can't, so, Yep. And the cat would sit on our TV set and watch us while we watch TV.
I love that. Cats are great observers, definitely.
Oh my gosh, and that's what I kept thinking when I was reading. I've never read a book like this. You did such an amazing job of being in a cat's head.
Thank you. And it's funny because I think cat lovers are very particular about cats, and I have noticed a few times reading reviews on Amazon, because both of my current novels are narrated by cats, that people say, would a cat really think that, or would a cat act that way? And they really do think about it. And I do try to make sure that my narrators are acting out things that I've seen my own cat do, or I try to imagine what she would see from where she sits on the floor and what she would smell or taste, or, I try to get into her head, but of course you're just using your imagination and we don't really know what the cats are thinking, but we can fictionalize it.
That's right. Did you ever see Cats?
The musical? Sadly, no. And it's funny because for a few years, I worked in New York City in the skyscraper across from Cats, the musical. And every day I would walk right by the theater. And no, I never saw that one.
Because it was so amazing. Like,
I bet.
Beyond, And I kept thinking about it when I was reading your book because...
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, well, because, like, they're, like, the way they act was, I don't know. It was just, like, I was picturing that, like, the way... Because they were so good, you really thought they were cats. Like, they were so good,
Right. Oh, I regret not seeing it. Maybe it'll come through a community theater.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I love Lily so much. And I finished this book this morning and I was like, I just love her so much. And I
Oh,
love, okay, the cover, everybody's loving the cover. They love that cat. Okay.
I love the cover. Yeah, in fact, I think I remember looking at a few different options that the art director at Kensington came up with, and that one really jumped out at me. I love the way the cat's just gazing out at the
Yeah.
reader.
Yeah, it's so and then the title. Did you come up with that title after you wrote the book?
Yes. To be honest, I was struggling to come up with a title. My first book was The Astonishing Thing, and I thought they're not a series of books, but they're similar in that both have a cat narrator. And I thought maybe the second novel would be The Beautiful Thing, but my
Mm.
editor had a good point that those titles are too similar. People will get confused. Let's go with something brand new.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a number of options. I just brainstormed maybe 40, 50 different titles. And this one, I think, was my agent's favorite. Her name's Stacy Testa. She's at Writer's House. And she said, and in fact, she might have taken something I had written and changed up the words a little. And she said, "What do you think of something worth saving?" And I loved it. It really jumped out. So,
I know, and it's so like I thought about the title while I was reading the book. It's
oh,
something
yeah.
that you always think because it was like him and like I don't know. That's what I got from it. I was like, oh,
And I always try to work the titles into the novel somewhere. And in my mind, the cat was talking about families, like even
yeah,
broken families are worth saving. But I've had some feedback from readers who are interpreting it as animals animals are worth saving and are,
yeah,
because Lily is a shelter animal. She's a rescue cat, and she was adopted from the shelter by the Anderson family. And but she was injured. She was mistreated by her first owner, who kicked her, and she had a broken leg, and she was a little nervous when she was in the shelter, not knowing who was going to adopt her. And then Charlie just fell in love with her. So that's another way you can look at it, is that animals are worth saving, and there's so many
yeah.
animals that still need to be adopted, and they need families.
Yes. And I love how you start the book out where Lily notices that something's wrong with Charlie. Like how we
Yes.
just, you started right off there and I was like, like what's wrong with Charlie? Like her observations of Charlie, that like
Right.
I don't know, it's just like I was thinking back to especially the ones I grew up with. I don't know. There's something about your first animals that I've had lots of dogs in the past, but there's something about your first ones. And I was like, wow, I wonder what they saw. It's,
Right. Yeah, no, I think definitely our pets are they provide us with so much emotional support, because they do sense when something's wrong with their loved ones, with their family members, and they have that instinct to support us. But then it also goes the other way, where families are under stress, and then the pets get stressed out as well. They have to absorb that stress, and they're impacted by things that might go on in a family, whether it's divorce, or in this case the dad gets kicked out of the house, and that changes everything in the family. And Charlie doesn't have the support that he had before. Maybe there aren't as many his parents aren't paying attention like they
yeah.
should be, and they're not quite aware that something's going on with Charlie and something's wrong. But the cat does. Our pets see us for better or for worse all the time, and
Right.
they're always there, for better, for worse. So I think for Lily, she knows right away. Of course, in that very first scene where Charlie walks in, she notices something's different. He smells different. He looks different. He
Right.
dyed his hair blonde. Oh, okay. She smells the chemicals. She knows something has changed about him. But also, she has seen that he has some bruises on him, and that's not normal. So she says someone must be bullying him. That's the conclusion she comes to right away. But who? And then the reader has to go on that journey with her
Yeah.
to say, who's the most likely candidate, and to rule out the suspects one by one until the truth comes out.
Yeah, and I love how you put it for the animals. I mean, because dogs, I feel like do that too. Is like how they, somebody new comes in the house, and you'll see them either
Yes.
go back away, or like, and you're always like, oh, you should never, how people say you shouldn't trust somebody, that your dog doesn't like, or
Yeah, right. The dog knows. The dog can sense it.
right.
Yeah, I think that's true in the way that Lily very much dislikes. Charlie's older sister Victoria has a new boyfriend, and the cat just can't stand him. She just hates him instantly on sight, and so the reader has to go through that time with Lily to say, is Lily being an accurate narrator here? Is she really sensing the right thing about Aiden? And then also there's a new man, Mark, who Mother's very interested in, and Gretel, who's the German Shepherd in the family. She seems to take to him right away, and that's why I think Lily trusts him, right away. She says, okay, a new man's coming into the house, but if Gretel trusts him, then I can trust him. It's okay.
Yeah, and I think the cats, like dogs, when I was thinking back to my cat, I was like, I didn't remember how it really interacted with people that came into the house. Because dogs will greet more than a cat doesn't really greet, right?
No, I don't think most cats do. I mean, it's unusual. My cat will definitely run away the very first time she meets someone.
Right.
In the same way that Lily will maybe go up to the balcony and she'll look down and eat, but she won't approach quite as quickly. But the dog, of course, my dog runs right up to the door. Yeah.
I know, and I was like, am I remembering right? Since I only had one cat, I was like, I gotta ask her that, because I don't remember the cat greeting like a dog greets. They're kind of like in the background somewhere else watching, but not right there, but always watching,
Exactly. And I think that dogs are protective too. They want to know who's at the door, not just because they're so friendly, although in my case my dog is very friendly and
right.
wouldn't, if a thief broke in, he would certainly just wag his tail. But Gretel being a retired police dog, she is a very I imagine German shepherds being very intelligent dogs, even though Lily's a little skeptical about how intelligent Gretel is. But Gretel would definitely go ahead and attack someone if she needed to attack someone. She's a tough dog.
Yeah. So I want to know how you thought of this idea to do this. It's so unique. Yeah. It's so unique. And I loved it. I just, like I said, I never read a book like it. And I was like, wow, this is so cool.
Well, thanks. People have asked me that, and I don't really remember exactly how I started with it, other than when I started my first novel, The Astonishing Thing. It was a short story, and I just wanted to try an unexpected narrator, an unconventional narrator. In the same way some of my favorite books are written, like The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, or I'm going to get the name wrong, but the Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, from the point of view of an autistic teenager, or just a different sort of narrator, someone you aren't expecting to tell the story. And so I tried from the cat's point of view, and then it just kind of got the ball rolling from there. And I expanded that short story into a novel, and so now I've got the second book
too,
also from a cat's point of view, and then my third book, which I just handed into the first draft to Kensington, is going to have an alternating points of view. So you'll have the cat telling her point of view in one chapter, and the next chapter will be her favorite person.
I love that.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I love that. That's going to be, I can't wait. When is that going to come out?
I would say about a year from now, maybe January of 2020.
Okay.
That's my best guess at this time.
Right. And it seems like your first two books were a year apart. So, doing the book a year, is that doable? Like, is that a good schedule for you?
Yeah, that's about perfect. Yeah. I work full time and I have a family, so I'm always trying to squeeze in some writing time, whether it's on the weekend or early in the morning or on the weekend. And a year I think is perfect for me. Right. Especially when I don't write a specific genre like romance or mystery, where I'm writing faster and I know what I want to write, and I don't want to say a formula, but I'm just writing. I'm the type of writer who just write as I go, and then I'll go back and edit and then keep writing off the top of my head. So a year is great because I might get a first draft done in a couple of months, but I need just as much time. I need another 6 months to edit.
Yeah.
Go back and fix everything that needs to be fixed.
Well, I just want to tell everybody, I mean, you hit a lot of topics in this book, and I love
Yeah.
that. I mean, this is about a family. And, I used to always say, like, growing up, like, I just want my family to be normal. Well, I don't know that there are such things. I don't know that normal is just too
Right.
vague anymore, and, but the topics that you bring up, I mean, I love that because it wasn't so hard hitting, but the way you did it, it was like it dealt with bullying, dysfunctional relationships and families and siblings and all that stuff.
Right. Right. Yeah. Thanks. I do. I think especially having teenagers myself and, interacting with a lot of families in different kinds of situations.
Right.
I always like to write contemporary, realistic stories that look like your family or your neighbor's family
Right.
or your kid's friend's family, and they're all different. And I
Yes.
think that's a major theme of all of my books, that every family is worth saving. Every family, no matter what it looks like or who it happens to end up in it, it might change,
Right.
but there's always reason for hope. And I always, my families are always very dysfunctional, but there are hopeful endings, which I hope readers will take away at the end of each book.
Yeah. And that's what, I found out as I got older, and I would go to class reunions and we'd talk about like what we were going through in our teenage years. And we'd be like, oh my God, like we never talked about it, and I thought that
Yeah.
I was like, I thought it was just me. Like, but then you find out everybody, because you'd look around and think, oh, it's only me and everybody else has normal parents and siblings and, extended family, and then you grow up and you start talking about it. You're like, wow, we were all going through stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And it's true. Every family. What is that quote? Every happy family is the same, but every family with, I don't remember, with issues is a little different or unhappy in their own way.
Right.
In which case, every family is gonna have their good years and their bad years. And so, for example, in my first novel, The Astonishing Thing. Hopefully it's not a spoiler to say that the mother has a mental illness and the cat doesn't understand it at all. And so, the cat could almost be the stand-in for a 12-year-old girl who is smart and she knows a lot about what's going on in her family, but not everything. She doesn't know everything about every adult issue.
Right.
And I think that's similar with Something Worth Saving, where the reader's going to learn things about the characters as she goes along through the book, because the cat is also learning things about her family as the story progresses.
Well, I loved it. Okay.
Thank you.
Show us both the covers, because I know you have them both right there. And
this is my debut novel, The Astonishing Thing.
Oh my gosh, look at the eyes on that cat.
Something Worth Saving.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful covers. I can't wait to read the next one next year, and we can talk about that. And
thank you.
It was a lot of fun. Sometimes you read a lot of like hardcore. I should say I'm reading like 2 hardcore thrillers right now.
Oh,
and whenever
okay.
I got too scared, like I picked your book. I'm like, oh, I need to get away. I wasn't scared with your book, and sometimes you just need that really book that you can get into, and this one was so much fun. And
well, thank you.
Yeah, and I love Lily, and I'm like, when I was making my notes, I'm like, main character Lily.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. So it was so good to meet you. I'm going to have all of Sandi's links listed below, along with her Amazon links, so you can buy both of these books. They are both out right now, and maybe we'll talk again next year when your next one comes out.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. This is a lot of fun. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, have a great night.
Thank you, you too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
It's going to be fun. Oh my gosh, she's so sweet. What a great book. Like I said, it was just so much fun to read, and I love that the main character was a cat, and I love her first cover too. Oh my gosh. Both of those links are going to be listed below here, so you can go buy them. Thank you so much, Sandi, and thank you for making my day yesterday and today. It was so much fun to read your book. Have a great night, everyone.